Hello, ENC students. Once again, this is your professor, Michael Bloomingberg. I hope you are finding these videos helpful during the first week of this new class, as the goal of the video is just to get you comfortable with the way the class is set up. And this video in particular is going to show you what I'm expecting from you with my writing lab. Now, there's another video that I've made that will hopefully help you with getting registered. That's not the purpose of this video. This video is going to pick up after you're registered and show you the things that you need to be doing. So as you can tell, I'm on the Blackboard homepage, our Blackboard homepage. I'm going to click on Weekly Assignments. And from there, that brings us to the weekly folder. So I'm going to click on the Week 1 folder. And so what I want to do is I want to stress to you that the easiest way to get into my labs each week is I will be setting up a direct link into the lab with each week's folder. So the best thing to do here is just go down to click on MyWritingLab Learning Path. And once I click it, and I'm going to go ahead and click it, it'll take you directly into the MyWritingLab. It's really cool. And that's the easiest way to do it once you're registered. Just go that way and it takes you right where you need to be. So as you can see, there are 8 modules, starting with basic grammar, craft of writing, paragraph development, all the way down to essay development. Biggest thing you need to know is that we're basically working on a schedule with 1 module per week for the 8 weeks that we'll be working together this summer. So it is a little bit more intensive because we are a summer class. So normally if it was a 16-week semester class, like a fall or spring, students might be given a couple of weeks to work through each module, but that's not the nature of this class because it's summer. It moves much more quickly. So the first module that you're assigned to work on during this first week is basic grammar. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And when I click on it, it looks kind of confusing initially because you've got a whole bunch of topic lists over here and the associated activities on the right-hand side. So what I want to point out to you is what you're working through is each one of these topic lists. So the first one's parts of speech, phrases, and clauses. The second one is subjects and verbs. The third one is nouns. There are 11 of them in the first module, basic grammar. See, it goes all the way down to prepositions at the bottom. So with each one you're on, I'm going to go back to parts of speech, phrases, and clauses. There are associated activities on the right-hand side. So for example, the first thing you'll see is an overview. So feel free to go ahead and click the overview, and it's all linked. So where it says overview, just click it. And it will pull up. And it will just, the overview is just basically introducing you to what's being covered in the topic. So this one shows you the parts of speech, all 8 parts of speech. Okay? So that's the overview. It's just for your comprehension. There's no real work in the overview. It's just for your understanding. By the way, on the far corner, there's a link that says Go to Learning Path. Just click that. That'll take you back to where you were. And notice that it's you have a star now. It shows you've completed it. And easy peasy because you have a 100% at that point on the overview. The animation is essentially the same thing. It's only in an animated form. So I'm going to click it. Again, I'll click the link. You can hear the sound. It gives you a little bit more information.
Parts of speech, phrases, and clauses. Use this introduction for reference and to review basic grammar.
Okay.
There are 3 sections.
I don't want to audio to overlap there, so I'll pause it. But I think you get the idea. Again, it's just walking you through the lesson. So when you have a good understanding of it, and you can review this as many times as you need to. There's no set limit on it. As much as you need to review it for your understanding, feel free to do it. Then you'll just click Submit. Go back to the learning path, and once again you have 100%. So easy peasy, no real work involved in the overview animation. It's just for your understanding. The real work begins with recall, and notice you have 2 different recall links, each one with 2 attempts. It's very important because I want you to work through at least one of the sets with each link. So work through one recall with recall 1 and one recall with recall 2. Now let me show you what they look like. You can work through all 4 of them if you need to, if it'll help with your understanding. So you have 2 attempts, and this is the first one, and you just click on the first question. That's how you start it. So it has them all linked, so just click on the first one and that'll open it. And sometimes it will take it just a minute to load. I'm working on this video at home, so it's a little slower than it might be if I was working on campus. Which of the answers provided is a clause from the following sentence? The batter swung and the umpire yelled strike. Now, I'll obviously let you do the work here, but you would just click on if you think it's A, B, C, or D. And then down at the bottom, and I'm just going to click one. I'll just click the first one. And by the way, don't read too much into this. Make sure you're doing it just so you can see. And then once you click it, you can click to check your answer. Or if you just want to, maybe you click an answer and you get a phone call. You can click Save for Later, and that'll save your work. And this is, again, just an attempt to, really get you to understand the lesson. And so it is important that you save your work as you progress. Now, what I'm going to do is just click off. Don't do this. Don't do what I'm going to do, because you'll lose your attempt if you do. But I'm just going to leave the page. I'm going to go back to basic grammar, and you can see I've got an incomplete. I need to finish that activity. So just so you're clear, you need to work at least one set for each one of the recall 1 and recall 2. Work on both if you need to, but work at least one. Apply. This is different, and you see you got 2 attempts again, but you need to work at least one of them. I'll click on that. There's only one question to link here, and you'll see this is quite a bit different. Because here it gives you a passage. And what it asks you to do is identify the verbs in the passage by clicking on linking verbs, main verbs, or helping verbs. Notice you can really click on anything. Now I want you to look down at the bottom, because that's where you can see your score, and it lets you know how many you need to identify. There are 10 verbs in total that I need to find. Well, I can look through and I can see that consist is probably a verb. So let me click it. Okay, so there's your freebie for the apply here. And it goes to green, and it lets me know at the bottom that I found one and I've got 9 left. But I want you to notice something. Well, let's just say that I want it to click on trail here. The Appalachian Trail, the word right before consist. If I click it, oh, look, it marked it incorrect. And now my score goes from a perfect 10, it goes down 1 to a 9. This is a really tough part of the lab, so be super careful. And by the way, don't click score this question unless you're absolutely stumped. Let's say you found 9 of the verbs and you just can't find the 10th one, and you don't want to take any more hits to your score. You can click score this question and it will end the activity, and that will be your final score. So if I click score this question right now, I'm going to get a 9, and that's not good at all in terms of a score. Also, same thing if you get a phone call or you have to go pick up a friend or something. Just click save for later, and that will save your progress. Okay? So again, work through that. Oh, and I jumped the gun because I accidentally clicked too far off, so I'm going to go back into the lab. Sorry about that. Okay? Now, I want to stress to you that the goal of the lab is to turn these pencils over here into stars. Stars indicate mastered. The only way to do that is through the post test. But my steadfast rule here is that you work your recall and apply before you do a post test. Don't just jump into a post test. Can you go right into a post test? Yeah, you can. But I'm going to see that. Excuse me, because I can see these things on my end, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to work through each topic closely before you do a post test. But I'll show you what one looks like. First of all, you're going to be given 10 questions on the post test. Mastery is 80%. Now, mathematically, that means you need to answer at least 8 out of 10 of those questions correctly to get mastery. Click You're Ready to Start, and it will pull up the test. And there it is. So it's all multiple choice again. And the first one's up here. You can click the second one to go to the next one, so on and so forth. So you answer what you think it is, and very important at the bottom, once you answer, you can just click Next Question, and that'll take you to the next one, to the next one. Do not click Submit Test until you have answered all the questions and you're ready to submit the test. If you've only answered the first question and you click Submit Test, it's going to submit the whole thing, and you're done at that point. It takes your attempt away. I can go in and reset it if I need to, but all things being considered, I'd prefer for you to really be careful with that and not make that mistake. If you do, I'm not going to come down on you, but just be really careful with how you work with the post test, okay? So I'm going to click back and cancel. And you can see that I've still got an incomplete there that I need to finish that. And so anyways, once you get your 80, you're done. You can go on to the next topic. You're not done with the module, but you're done with parts of speech, phrases, and clauses. Then you go to subjects and verbs, and you work your way down with each one. And as you can see, this is very time-consuming. So please take your time as you work through, but work diligently. Don't wait till the last minute, because it's an awful lot of work. This is something you need to be chipping away at a little bit every day if possible. A deadline for basic grammar again is Sunday during this first week. Okay? By the way, some of you have asked me if you can work ahead in the lab. Certainly, you can. Feel free. If you get basic grammar done, you can go ahead and start working on the craft of writing, for example. Second, and what I think will be the last question, some of you have asked me about, well, what happens if I try my very best and I can't turn all of the pencils into stars? That is, I don't get my 80% or higher on the post test. Your scores will just factor in for the lab, and I always post, your score in the lab in Blackboard that'll show your score for each module. So it all just factors in. In a perfect world, I'd love to see everybody turn those pencils to stars, but we all have strengths and weaknesses, and I don't think any less of any student who has trouble with a particular part of the module. It's going to happen to everybody at some point, so don't beat yourself up, but just try your very best. I think that's it, guys. I do hope that you found the video helpful. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email me. But good luck, and remember that you're working through all 11 topics here. Look forward to seeing your progress throughout the semester. Take care, and bye-bye.